we're going to cut out the fabric, and if you're anything like me, you don't really use the layout plan because you're using multiple fabrics. But the one thing you can take away from the plan is that we're folding in our selvage as far as we have to, and then we're going to cut out the pattern pieces. And it's always best if you cut out with a scissor to the left of your pattern piece. It's much harder to cut if your scissor is on the right. And as you can see here, I'm really struggling with my scissor. It was so blunt. So in the next videos, I all of a sudden have a nice orange scissor. I just went out and got one. That was just too much. You want to mark the center back, and then we also have to cut out the center front. And here I move the selvage over a little bit more even, and I'm cutting that out as well with the pattern to my right if I can. If I can't, well then, you know, you can cut from the right as well. Make sure you snip where we have the fold line. That's where the interfacing is going to sit. Now I'm going to cut my waistband on the fold, very important. And then we have to cut the interfacing, and we need 2 of those. And I always use very lightweight interfacing. I don't like them being too heavy. And then I'm also going to cut the little pockets, but I am going to use them as a little bow. I think that is really, really pretty. So you want to cut 2 of those. And now I'm going to cut my skirt. And we have to cut that twice, once for the front and once for the back. And the important thing for marking your pleats in here, could do gathered, but if you're marking your pleats, is that I wouldn't mark the center of the pleat. If you want to mark it, then maybe you want to take a textile marker to mark the center of the pleat and snip the sides of the pleat. Otherwise, you're going to end up with loads of pleats and you're not going to know which one is which. And so here you can see me only marking the beginning and the end of the pleat rather than the center. And like I said, you can always mark that with a textile marker in the center so that it will be apparent to you that that is the center. Mark the center front or center back, of course. Cut the next one out as well. And that's it. We are all cut out. The last thing we need to cut is the elastic, and you should choose the elastic length by the waist size rather than by the size you're making, because it might well be that you're making a bigger size because of the length, and so there is more growth in it. But for the elastic, you definitely want to go by the waist size so that it's not way too big, because some of you have very, very slender little girls. And this will last them then a while, won't it? So that's quite nice. My elastic wasn't 4 centimeters, but 5 instead. So I just trimmed it down. It's not ideal, but really it doesn't matter. So if you have a wider one, you can just cut it down, do what I do here. And now we're ready to start sewing the skirt together.